Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to the Battlefront 2 lore play series. This is going to be a little bit different from lore plays I've done in the past, because I'm going to basically play through the whole thing. In my previous lore plays, I've cut down the gameplay to like the bare bones, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes. I want this to be a little longer, since the game is brand new. This is basically going to be like watching me play through the game, and then I'm going back and I'm putting audio commentary over it. So this isn't live commentary as I'm playing, but, you know, I'm hoping it'll come out to be basically like watching a movie with me just talking over it. And obviously I feel like this should go without saying, but if you haven't played the game yet and you plan to, there will be spoilers ahead. But this is just the first mission. I'm hoping people will have been past this by now.
You must be important.
So the Alliance intelligence here, they have quote-unquote captured Iden. She is the commander of Inferno Squad. If you haven't read the prequel book, I would really recommend doing so. You will immediately know that these guys are in over their heads. They just aren't aware of it yet. But the prequel book is really solid. It's written by Christie Golden, who she's written 2 canon Star Wars books so far, both of which have been fantastic, and I just love it. It really gives you a lot of good backstory on who Iden and the other members of Inferno Squad are, and it tells the story of their very first mission.
Take on my offer. All I want is the code.
We saw a second ago this guy kind of threatened her droid, and she acted all upset about it, but that's an act. I mean, you're going to see pretty early in this mission that the Empire treats their droids very differently. The Rebellion kind of treats their droids like pets or friends, but the Empire doesn't. They view their droids as nothing more than tools. Speaking of the droid, here it is. Iden's droid is an ID-10 tactical droid, as this rebel technician is saying. And it's more advanced than the ID-9, again, he's saying that right there, but the ID-9 is what the Seventh Sister had in Star Wars Rebels. So this is like the upgraded next generation. I wonder if when new models come out, like, does the Empire have like a keynote speech? Does a guy come out in a black turtleneck and announce all the new features? Like, this model has a shock feature that will disable your enemies, and then a bunch of stormtroopers give a standing ovation. There we go. I mean, it's a nice feature. I'd applaud it. So like I said, you can hear Iden just call the droid droid. There's nothing more to say about it. It doesn't have a cute little nickname. They don't even call it ID-10. It's just droid.
I don't mind saying that I don't like you. Not one bit.
Alright, well I don't like you either. So you can see there, I didn't get a great shot of it, but the Death Star 2 is on this screen, and it's basically proof that the Rebels know about it. And in Lost Stars, we actually get to see Thane Kyrell do a reconnaissance mission. So I guess that's like how they got an actual image of the second Death Star. When they show up at the Battle of Endor, that's not the first time they were seeing it. I mean, they saw the image of it in the briefing room on Home 1 in Return of the Jedi, so that's just where these images are coming from, but this is prior to that briefing. I also like that a lot. Like, there's a lot of stuff like this. You can sit there and just listen in on conversations, and then I bumped into the vents, and the Rebels reacted, and they just write it off as saying, like, oh, the vents are acting up again, which I like that, because it's like their ship is always breaking. They're rebels. They don't have the equipment that the Empire does. So they're just like, oh, the vents are falling apart again. I mean, there's your problem right there. You just have electricity causing havoc in the vents. Someone get up there and fix that. So here's yet another conversation we can listen in on. And we learn they're trying to encrypt some Imperial message before they head to Endor. And that is why Inferno Squad is here. Our job, the reason that we were created, is to stop these security leaks. So if information gets out, then it's our job to go in and fix that. Here's a little command center. I'm just kind of looking around. It's probably not the best idea. Gonk droid, you keep your mouth shut. Don't tell anyone I was here. But you see, like, that same little command center that we saw in Yavin. That circular table. A very stealthy droid. So there's Iden's cell, that's where we're headed. But we can't go straight in because there's just too many. I mean, I feel like I could shock them all, but that's okay. Oops. Bonked my head. I am clearly the most advanced model of this droid. I mean, technically it's like 4 years old. So maybe there's an ID 11 or 12 out. Maybe Inferno Squad should upgrade. It's kind of hard to hear these guys, but it's more gossip about Endor. They're talking about Red Squadron. They mentioned Corona Squadron. All of these squadrons that are being called into the Battle of Endor. It's just some fun little flavor about what's about to happen. They mentioned Leia starting a new government and all that. And I just love listening to these side conversations. Hopefully it doesn't get boring, because I seriously, throughout this game, I just sit and I kind of listen to some conversations for a while. But the game is just filled with flavor like that if you're willing to take the time to listen. This is pretty cool, just like a little gun battery area. We can shoot out of the magnetic field there. It's hard to get a good look at the actual weapons because I'm trying to be stealthy and all. Another gonk droid, you keep your mouth shut. We droids have a code of honor. He's not gonna tattle. I'm really not being all that stealthy. Like, you can hear my legs dragging along the pipes. I just like, yeah, I can hear you. Maybe cut it out. Shut up. But here we go.
Right on time. Let's go.
Alright, Agent Task is also known as Gideon Hask, that's his full name, and we're going to meet him shortly. He is second in command of Inferno Squad, and he's also a childhood friend of Iden's. Again, he was in the Inferno Squad book. They were basically raised together on Iden's homeworld of Vardos. Hask is an orphan that was taken in by the Imperial School on Vardos, and he and Iden were exemplary soldiers as they grew up together. So that's how they know each other.
Shot that spot. Hey.
I love the droid. I love using the shock.
Have the rebels figured out you wanted to be caught?
Never crossed their mind.
To be fair, we're operating outside protocol. We should have just blown up their ship.
Would have raised too many questions. For this to work, we need to be subtle.
I understand, Commander.
So I'm staring at this because I wanted to translate the Arabesh, and I did that because I love all of you. It was kind of painstaking. But we get a better look at it later, so I'm going to save actually talking about it until then. Because we're about to run into something else that's cool that I wanted to talk about. So, this is, as he just said, Admiral Ackbar, and as you can hear, he just said that there's a beacon that's summoning rebel ships to the Galan system in order to divert... Sit down, Iden, what are you doing? So, they're trying to divert Imperial attention away from Solist, where the actual rebel fleet is gathering. So, this is referring to events in the book Moving Target, in which Leia acts as a high-profile target for the Empire to chase around the galaxy while the rest of the Alliance prepares for the attack on Endor. And that was called Operation Yellow Moon. And the mission, as far as the rebels know, the mission worked. And it also saw the capture of Shuttle Tidarium that would be used at Endor. But, as Hask just said, the Empire is fully aware of Solist despite the diversion. And we already knew that because Vader mentions the rebel fleet gathering there in Return of the Jedi. And Iden tells us a little bit more about our mission. We're basically here because the rebels intercepted a transmission that'll give away the trap if it is decrypted. So we're here to delete that message. You like how I accidentally shot my gun when I took that guy down? How did nobody hear that?
You're up. I can't believe it's finally happening.
I really like the whole stealth aspect of this first mission. You could do it running and gunning, but I like doing it the way that they kind of want you to.
Can we check on that Imperial transmission again? We're almost out of time.
Like I yelled at last time, I'm not going back in there.
Get him.
Using the droid is a lot of fun. It just allows us to do multiple covert takedowns like that at once.
The communication center. Deleting the message will trigger their alarm. Be ready for extraction.
Understood.
Slice that.
For the last time, please stop interrupting.
So that guy on the right back there, before we knocked him out, mentioned being yelled at for coming into this room and asking about the status of the decryption. And now we're coming in, and she is yelling at us, just assuming we're the same person interrupting her again.
I've located the encrypted intel.
So here's that message we've been after.
We have new orders. The Imperial fleet will move to the far side of Endor. There we will wait for the rebels to attack. Then
So he's just basically talking about the trap set up at Endor, and just trying to keep it secret. But deleting the message triggers the alarm,
Task. It's time.
and now our face is plastered on like every screen.
I'll secure a blaster and
So I checked that message. It's the same Arabesh that I mentioned before, and now while we fight, I figured I would just run through it. And it's basically just a rundown of who Iden is. And it's pretty cool that they took the time to put all this in there, but it says identity, Iden Versio, born Kestro Vardos. Kestro being the capital city of the planet Vardos. We're going to see it later. Janata system, that is where Vardos is located in the galaxy. Affiliations, Galactic Empire, duh. Special Forces, Inferno Squad, and then it kind of goes through a list of our skills, which was already read out at the beginning of in the cutscene at the beginning of this mission. But it says, Intelligence, Expert Pilot, Marksman, Special Forces Training, survived the Ja Bess incursion, captured at classified location, status extremely dangerous, examination incomplete. It's cool that they give you the option to shoot panels, but you'll see me try to do it later, and I don't know. That's probably one I could have shot. It's hard to A, remember that that's an option, and B, I just couldn't find it. I would try to shoot some and they wouldn't close, and I just didn't know which would and which wouldn't. I am not ashamed to admit that I'm playing this on easy, because I enjoy my one-shot headshots.
Scan the area.
It really does make you feel like a crack shot. Okay, look, even special forces get a little lost sometimes, so I don't know, just took a little wrong turn, no problem. Back at it. See, there's a door panel I tried to shoot closed, and it just, nah, it's not gonna work. Now, what's going on with this door specifically? I mean, every other door in this ship has been opened immediately, but this one has given us trouble. I mean, I guess it's probably because the ship is on lockdown because I escaped, but I just think it's funny. Just a little choke point. Alright, here we are. Here's the airlock.
Agent Hask, I'm in position.
Understood, Commander. Prepare for extraction.
This cutscene is totally awesome, and I'm sure there are going to be some people that have some questions about it, especially whether or not the suits will allow you to survive in space. Standard Imperial suits do have a limited oxygen supply, so a short little trip like this is fine. But if the Corvus hadn't popped up, and she were just stuck out there, it would not take long at all for her to suffocate, so it is a risky move. And the Corvus itself is an Imperial Raider-class corvette, and that ship was originally created for the X-Wing Miniatures game, and I still think it's awesome that they pulled the ship out of a tabletop game to use here. So now we're meeting the rest of the team in the flesh. This is Hask, who we've been talking to.
Oh, I'm patient. I can wait.
Agent Miko.
And Del Miko, and he's kind of our technical guy.
The landing wasn't too rough.
Been through worse. Remember the Ja Bess incursion?
And then there, Iden mentions the Ja Bess incursion that we read about from that translated Arabesh, so fun little tie-in. There was a fourth member of the team in the Inferno Squad book, but I won't spill the beans on what happened to her if you want to read the book, although you can probably guess. Anyway, the book is good and an excellent introduction to all of these characters and the bond that they have. But hey, that is Mission 1. Hopefully you like this longer, full gameplay commentary style. Please let me know what you think of it in the comments. I'll be doing this weekly until the story is done. I've got a playlist of other Battlefront 2 videos you can check out, and I plan to stream the game on a weekly basis or so. If you want to keep up with that and all Star Wars news and lore content, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.